All right, this week we are looking at planning and designing sports facilities. We are beginning by talking about feasibility studies and sort of that first planning aspect. Is it feasible? Is it possible to build this sports venue where we're talking about, or in the city that we're talking about, or for these purposes? That's really important. One, do we have the money? I think that that's probably always the biggest factor, whether it's a public project, whether it's a private project. Is it feasible to have the funds and to be realistic with that number? Second, land, space to build on. In a lot of major cities, that can be hard to come by. Madison Square Garden will eventually need to be rebuilt in New York. And where are you going to put an arena in Midtown Manhattan? That's something that may not be feasible. They may have to move Madison Square Garden to one of the other boroughs, to New Jersey. I don't know. So that one's going to be tough. And then, is the site we're looking at suitable? I'll give you an example of that. I worked for Atlanta United and I managed their training facility for the team's first 4 seasons. $16 million, 33-acre complex in Marietta, Cobb County, Georgia. That facility was originally supposed to be built in DeKalb County, in an unincorporated part of that county. And as they had done the feasibility and were doing due diligence and making sure that the site was feasible for the venue, for the training facility, they found that that land used to be a landfill. You can imagine that land that was previously a landfill may not be steady, and it may not be perfectly flat, and you may not be able to level it out very well. When you're building 6 soccer fields, that's a problem, right? Because you need them to be flat. You don't want them to be sloped or bumpy or anything like that. And so that's why it's so important to make sure that you are doing feasibility studies and things like that, because it leads to those other things. Sometimes stadiums have been proposed in an area with a lot of rocks that will require a lot of blasting. Blasting heavily increases the cost of the project. So if you don't realize that, and if you don't do your due diligence and find that that's a thing, then you may not have enough funds available to complete the project. So feasibility studies, making sure that everything is in line, is really the first step in designing a facility, and it's probably the most important one.